Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion, where I've got another topic video for you. As always, check the description for more YouTube creators making videos for Marvel Champions. And if you like what you saw here today, please consider a like, sub, and comment to help the channel grow. With that out of the way, let's get to today's topic. Alright, first things first, thank you so much for going on this journey with me. Hitting 1,000 subs is really big. I have another channel which I started 2 years before this channel, and it's still sitting at about 700 subs. Now, to be fair, I neglected that channel a lot once I started this channel, so I'm going to do some more stuff on that channel. Hopefully, I can get that channel up to 1,000 subs this year, too. That channel, Session 0, is linked down in the description. That is a channel about tabletop role-playing games. Right now, I'm playing through Final Fantasy VII on that channel and doing it while talking about tabletop games. An NPC party that shows up a lot in Final Fantasy VII is called the Turks, and they are basically just like Team Rocket from Pokemon. So I talk about how you can add that into your tabletop game. Enough about that. This is about Marvel Champions, and I want to do two things in this video. The first is I want to talk about this gem. I have not read many Marvel comics. I got this right at the end of December, and I want to say that I love 95% of it. The 5% I don't love is the awful way they treated Bruce Banner and Hulk. It's despicable what they did with that character. They did him so dirty. I don't want to tell you what they did in case you haven't read this, but they did Bruce and the Hulk very dirty in this series. That is the only thing I don't like about it. The rest of this book is amazing, and you might recognize these names: Mark Millar, Steve McMillan. They're the same guys that wrote and drew Civil War. So if you liked this and you like that style, it is the same people. Now, I don't want to spoil this for you. I did put a link down in the description where you can actually go buy this. It's still only $14. As of this morning, I'm recording this on January 15th. But it's still only $13. Go click that link if you're thinking about buying it. I love this series. This is the Marvel Premium or Premier Collection. This cover, I don't know what you call this type of cover, but it's like plasticky, rubbery type. I don't know what that is, but all of this series has that type of cover. The other one I have is Daredevil Born Again, and it has that same cover, same series, Marvel Premier Collection. Now, I don't want to go through the story, but I do want to, in a very basic way, talk about the story. This takes place 50 years after the villains won. Basically, the supervillains got together and more or less took over the country and defeated most of the superheroes. This is 50 years later, where Logan, who doesn't like to go by Wolverine, Logan and Hawkeye, who is blind, go cross-country to New Babylon to make a delivery. This map is awesome. It's super cool, and I can see a board game using this map or one similar to it, and that might be something I'm working on. Stick around. Maybe you'll see this a little bit later on the channel. But they start in Sacramento, they go cross-country and basically have adventures along the way. Some are good, some are bad, most are bad. Then we get to New Babylon and things come to a head. This is a very fun story, unless you really, really like Hulk. Again, they do him dirty. I don't want to talk about it, but very good story. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The link I have in the description is not an affiliate link. I'm not going to get any money if you go buy this. That's not why I'm doing this. I just think it is very well done, mostly, and worth a read, especially for only $14. If you love Wolverine, if you love Marvel Comics, and you haven't read this, it collects, I believe, 9 issues. The image I show on screen will have the issues that it collects. I believe it's 9, but very, very fun. The next thing I want to do, what would be a better thing to do in a 1,000 sub special than to do a community spotlight for some of the other content creators in this community. All of them are subs to me and have helped me get to 1,000. And these are all of the people I have listed in my description. At the beginning of every episode or every video, I say, if you like this, check the description for more content creators. Well, I'm going to go down that list right now and talk a little bit about each of their channels. All right, so this is the list that I have in most of my recent videos. I did rearrange it a little bit for this video because there are a couple YouTube creators who are similar in one way or another, or they're linked in some way. For instance, this is Jason's sketch, his brother Marvel Earth Twister, their friend Levi Lewis. They all have their own channels. And then together, they have a podcast called Sidekicked. So I wanted to put them all together for that reason. Also, there are some big names that aren't on this list. Villain Theory, Web Warrior Fanatic, Nelson D20. They're not on here because they have really big channels already. They don't need my help growing their channels. All of these channels are channels that are smaller than me, except for one, and I'll talk about that when I get there. So really, this is just about getting a new perspective, right? If we only watch or listen to one point of view, we're not going to really change very much. But if you listen or watch many points of view, many different takes on the same thing, you can broaden your horizons a little bit. So that's what I want to do today. Let's broaden your horizons with some other YouTube content creators making content for Marvel Champions. We are going to start with Jason. Jason is a lot of fun. He's got 273. Let's see if we can get that up for him. He is doing some current stuff right now, which I like and appreciate. Current is, and I'll talk about this with another creator soon, it's a challenge. It's not about limiting what we can use. It's not even really about the players. It's almost more about the designers, giving them a smaller pool to test against and test with when they're making new content. For content creators like myself, I see it as a challenge and a way to make new content. I'm going to move my face a little bit over here. So I do like that he's taking up current, and I think he said he's going to do it once a week or something, or every other week, something like that. But I do like that he's doing current. Now, he also does other stuff. He does previews. He talks about cards sometimes. He has a series that I really like called Hero Dossier. These are dossiers on different heroes, and I really like that. He's doing a deep dive into their lore, talking about them from the comics. Almost everything I know about these heroes comes from the MCU, which is not always comic book accurate, or Marvel Champions. So it is fun to get his take on these heroes from a comic book standpoint. And I really hope he continues doing this type of thing. I love the Dossier series. Jason, if you're watching, please do some more of those. Those are great. Now, his brother is Marvel Earth Twister, and he has not put a video out in a few months, but we can forgive him for that because he has been working towards his master's degree, and I think he has finished that up now. So kudos to him. That is amazing. He comes home from work, he makes videos for Marvel Champions, and worked towards his master's degree. So that's really awesome. His gameplay is really good. He's a little bit more thoughtful than I am on his turns. I play fast so that I can get smaller or shorter videos. But he takes a little more time and really thinks his turn through, and I appreciate that too. So he's really fun. Their friend Levi Lewis has a channel. It doesn't have many subs or videos, but he says, I make a video when I want to make it. He's not always in the mood to make a video or wants to push out, a certain type of play, whatever. But his videos are good. The ones he has on here, I have watched them all. I don't know why. You can see here this red indicates that I've watched this one, but I have watched all of them. So I don't know why. I don't know why it's not showing that I have. It kind of did the same thing on these dossiers. I've watched all of these, but it's only showing that one there because I've commented on all of these. Anyway, I've watched all of his videos. They're a fun watch. Give him a try, get another perspective. Together, the three of them have a podcast called Sidekicked. They are, two brothers and a friend, so there's going to be a lot of fun on the episode. They're joking around a lot. They're teasing each other, picking on each other as they go. It is a lot of fun. I was a guest host on episode 20 with Grant Ward, and it was a super fun time. I laughed through the entire process to the extent that when we got done, my wife came up behind me and said, "Did you guys even do anything?" All I heard was you laughing the whole time. So yeah, we did get something done, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I think that's important to have fun with what you're doing. Now, in this podcast, they're just looking at allies. They're talking about what they think about the ally, how they would use that ally, how they wouldn't use that ally, like types of deck they wouldn't put them in, etc. So really fun. Go check them out. And, sub to them, sub to this podcast. Give them a boost. They're really fun to watch and listen to. Jeff is facing the encounter. He's another one who's doing some stuff with Current, and he's the one who has literally said, I look at Current as a challenge. It's not just about building a deck. Can we build a powerful and fun deck, even with a smaller card pool? And I really like that outlook. I know a lot of people are not real stoked about the environments because, again, they think it's Fantasy Flight telling us what we can't play with, but that's not the case. I do like that some are embracing it and enjoying the process of not only building a deck, but playing decks in the current environment as well. So he has a lot of really fun stuff going on as well. Also, he's the first one I ever played a multiplayer game with. Leading up to MCDC, I had not played any multiplayer, and he'd played a few games. And we got to talking online, and he said, hey, let's play on Tabletop Simulator. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I want some reps with multiplayer games. We ended up changing to Dragon Cards because it's faster, but he's a fun guy to talk to, fun guy to play with, and he has a different perspective on the game than I do. Like, all the time when we're playing, he'll say, I'm not scared. When I'm complaining that, we're going to get an extra encounter card, whatever, he doesn't care what the encounter deck does. I'm always kind of thinking, okay, what's going to happen here? Can I recover if it's bad, etc.? But he's like, nope, I'm not scared. He just blasts through it. Different perspective than me, but it's also fun to play with someone like that. If everyone was as down on the villain phase as I was, this would probably be a pretty sad game. But he enjoys the game. He talks about different things within the game a lot. Fun dude to play with, fun guy to talk to. MC Deck Discussions has a channel about what you would expect with a title like that. He discusses Marvel Champions decks. Now, they might be his own decks. They might be some deck that someone asked him to talk about. I've done that before. He's talked about some of my decks on the channel before. And the way he talks about them is really interesting because he's doing it kind of in a deep dive way after several games played with that deck. It's not theory crafting. It's not, I think this card will go good with this. I think this will be a cool combo. It's, this was a good combo in these matchups. And I really like that too because he's coming at it with experience. Now, he'll often talk about cards he started with in the deck, but switched out for one reason or another. And that's really valuable too. To see maybe your favorite card is on that list. He's like, I started with this card, but it really just wasn't doing what I needed it to do, so I traded it out for this, and then the deck really took off. I think that's important to hear because I am definitely the type of person who has my favorites, and I'm going to play them as much as I can. He talks about these cards in a way that makes you think, okay, maybe it would be better to use this different card for these reasons. So give him a try, give him a sub. He's doing some really good stuff. Ziggy Z does a couple different things. Number one, he does a lot of randomized games so that, you know, this one is Pool, Ms. Marvel versus Standard Hela. I think the mod sets he puts in the villain are also randomized. So that's a very different way to play than I play, because I like to really, I'm what I call an agonizer. I build a deck and really agonize over it, trying to pick the exact best thing. And he's all random. He has to use Pool in this case. He has to go against Hela, and that gives him a different deck building perspective. It also makes him play the game a little bit differently, because I go in knowing exactly what my deck is designed to do, or what I've designed the deck to do, but he goes into it in a very different way. He's like, I hope this deck works against these, because it was all random. So that's fun. Digging Deep is a series where he plays a hero in all of the aspects, and then comes back in the ranking episodes and ranks all of the player cards for that hero. That's really valuable too, because he is giving his perspective on these cards as he's played them in 4 different games, 4 different aspects. So those are really good. The Digging Deep is good to see him playing the deck, but then the hero cards ranked is another good series too, because then you get to hear his thoughts on those cards. 2 more things about Ziggy Z. He is in our military, so I appreciate that. I appreciate your service, Ziggy Z, if you're watching this. Also, he is an author. He has written a book, and it was published last year, so good on you. So, you know, I go to work at a factory that makes candy. I eat a lot of candy there. That's why I'm a big dude. I come home, I make dinner, I record some videos for Marvel Champions and Tabletop Role-Playing Game, and that's my day. This guy serves in our military. He gets home and makes these videos. He has written a novel, Marvel Earth Twister. He goes to work, comes home, and gets his master's degree. So I am a little bit envious that these guys are doing such really cool things when my life feels kind of wasted, but that's a whole different topic, a whole different video. Next, we're going to get into my Australian part of the list. Ray Plays Games is a lot of fun. He plays 3 different games on his channel: Marvel Champions, Marvel Legendary, and Final Girl. So a different perspective in those 2 different Marvel games, plus Final Girl he's really enjoying. So it's fun to watch his channel because he's playing a diverse set of games. It's not always just Marvel Champions, and I think that's really cool. And Final Girl is very different than either of those Marvel games. So give Ray a try and give him a sub. Let's get his count up. He also does something that I'm super jealous of, and that's he gets to play the game with his son. My son is 23 and doesn't have a single care in the world about Marvel Champions, but Ray gets to play with his son on his videos sometimes, and I think that is super cool and super fun. Good on you for getting your son into the game and having him play. Sometimes the game we get is just his son playing, and his son is young, so right now they're just doing skirmish mode, but he's been blasting through those pretty quickly lately, so hopefully they're going to get him back up to just doing standard at some time. But super fun that he can do that. He also has I don't know if it's a podcast or just another channel about Moon Knight, so go check that out as well. I believe this link is the link to that. But yeah, he's doing a lot of different things too. Now, he gets his boxes usually a lot later than we do, because I guess Australia just doesn't get theirs when the rest of the world does. But he gets his stuff a lot later than we do, so he, you know, doesn't always have the most current thing on, but as soon as he gets it, he plays it a lot, he talks about it, and he's excited about it. I think that's something that is, again, really important about this game. Be excited about the game. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Be excited for what's coming. Even if you think it might suck, be excited for it. We have our second Aussie. Joshy plays a lot of Hulk. So he's got a lot of She-Hulk videos, a lot of Hulk videos. And I think that's a cool thing because a lot of people in the community don't like Hulk. Now, there are some things about his kit I don't like, but it is still really fun to watch him take Hulk and She-Hulk and just destroy everybody. He kind of does it a little bit rush, and it's just fun to see Hulk taking down some of these villains. So check him out, if just to watch him beat everybody with Hulk. It's a lot of fun. The Masked Hero should hit 1,000 this month or next month. He's getting close. He does a lot of fun things. This new player guide series is really cool because he takes a hero and talks about their kit in a really thoughtful way. And then he also includes their Nemesis kit, their obligation, but then he'll talk about some cards which might work well in that hero. So that's a really good series to watch if you are a new player. He's also the first one I know of who was really into and embracing the 4-pack challenge, where you take the core and only 4 packs and build a fun deck using those. That is especially invaluable to new players who are going to have the core and maybe only a few packs. Really good to see that type of play, championed, and limited environment is really cool. I love the limited environment, but we do get a lot of packs in that. We get 3 boxes, 10 hero packs. That's still not beginner friendly. And I think the reason he did that is because he was looking for decks on MarvelCDB that were beginner friendly, but they would have 12 or 13 packs. And he's like, well, that's not beginner friendly. Beginner friendly is core and a few packs. So I like that he had that point of view. And again, it is a different point of view, right? Listen to everybody, watch everybody, so you can get more points of view for this game. The Charred Gambit is a fun channel too. He does his charred takes, which are just hot takes. But he's got this series right now called Marvel Rewind, which is playing the villains as you would play them in a progression style game, where he's playing the villains in release order and only using cards that were released up to that point to do that. So his hero does change as he goes, but it's only ever using cards that were available at the same time that villain was released. So that is a really cool series. I love that. And that got me thinking about something else that I wanted to do. And I'm not doing it exactly that way, but I am going to do something similar. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in this video too. So Charred Gambit, give him a try. He's at 443. Let's get that number up. Oh Bother hasn't made videos in a while, and I'm not sure why, but he's a lot of fun to watch. The first video of his that I ever watched was Spectrum versus Expert Project Wide Awake. Now, I love Spectrum and I love Project Wide Awake, so when I saw that video come up on my feed, I went, ooh, gotta watch that, and that's when I subbed to him. But he's got a lot of fun things going on too. Again, just a different voice in the game. And when I say voice, I don't mean what the person sounds like when they talk. I mean their thinking of the game, how they play the game, what they think about cards, etc. That's what I mean when I say a different voice. Check him out. He's at 154. Let's see if we can get him up to 300. And then 1,000, obviously. Longship Gaming does some fun stuff. He's at almost 800. He plays Marvel Champions. He plays Earthborn Rangers. I haven't seen that video, so I want to watch that to see how he gets everything on the camera. So I will be interested to watch that. But he's also playing Frosthaven. He's playing Star Wars Unlimited. So he's got a perspective on several different games, and that helps too, right? That helps him just, sometimes when you're playing different games, you might think, one game might make you think a certain way, and then you carry that into another game. So I love the idea of playing multiple games on a channel, and then maybe carrying some knowledge, at least play style maybe, to other games. If you like that type of thing, check out Longship. Strong Style Versus. I remember the very first video I watched with him was this Star Wars Death Star video. This was really cool. It was a custom scenario where you're facing off against the Death Star, and there are stormtroopers, etc. This was a lot of fun, and his channel is a lot of fun. I try to keep up with him as well. And I mean, take a look at this guy. He's bald, he wears glasses, and he has a goatee. Where have you seen that before, right? This is my brother from another mother. I mean, we could be related. I love his channel. I love watching him play. He is also does something that I do quite a bit, and that is, you know, sometimes when I play, or not sometimes when I play, I'm playing really fast to make shorter videos, and that makes me sometimes take my turn back. I'll be like, you know what, instead of doing that, let me take that back and do this instead. And he does that sometimes when he's playing. He'll make a play, and then he'll kind of look at the board and go, you know what? No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to take that back and do this. It doesn't happen as much as it happens with me because he's playing slower and not making the same mistakes I'm making. But I do like that because, you know, this is a game we play at home a lot of times by ourselves. And the FFG police aren't going to come knocking on your door because you took a turn back, right? If you're playing by yourself, or if you're even playing cooperatively with your friends, say, hey, I'm going to take that back and do this instead. I've done that loads of times on Dragon cards with Jeff because, you know, you'll make a play hastily and then you're like, oh, you know what? No, if I don't do this, we're going to lose the main, stuff like that. So I really like the way he plays. His videos are fun. Oftentimes his titles are really fun. Like Hot Girl Summer, I'm going to need his arm with a rocket deck. I think that's hilarious. So I really like him. Give him a try and give him a sub. He's definitely worth a sub. I really enjoy watching his videos. The Steggy. He is really excited when he's playing. You know, that was a really great hand. I can do this and I can do that. And he's really more... what's the word I'm trying to say here? Optimistic while he's playing than I am. You'll hear a lot of times on my videos, when things start to go south, I get really frustrated, and you can really hear it in my voice. He's not like that. He's like, well, he's going to attack me again. I think it'll be fine. We can survive this. That's not the way I play. When I see that, I'm like, oh, well, that's going to knock me down to 2 hit points or whatever. But he is super optimistic and super energetic while he's playing. And that's good for the game too. Show optimism, show enthusiasm while you're playing. I think he definitely deserves some subs. Marvel Champions Podcast. These guys are actually in my backyard. We go to the same local game store in Knoxville, Tennessee, but I've never seen any of them there, or either of them there. We met up at MCDC, and we're going to play a game the last day of the con, but I had to do something else, and we just didn't make that happen. We keep talking about getting together for a game. It just hasn't happened yet, but these guys, again, talk about the game. Ryan plays a lot on Dragon cards, but they talk about the game. They give another perspective on the game. You're going to be sick of hearing that word by the time this video is over. They talk about their favorite heroes. They talk about villains. They do their chumpies every year at the end of the year, where they put out a poll and let people vote on favorites and non-favorites, etc. So they're definitely worth checking out. They're sitting at 101 right now. Give them some love and help them get up in some subs as well. The Winning Hand Podcast. This is the only channel I have on here that has more than 1,000 subs and more than me, but I think it's very worth pointing to these guys. If you haven't watched them already, go check them out. They're a lot of fun because they talk about one card at a time, and sometimes at length. Like, this is a 52-minute video. I've seen hour-and-a-half videos. Let's go here. I think Ready for a Fight was really long. Yeah, an hour and a half on Ready for a Fight. but it gives you some good perspective. It gives you some good information. They talk about what they like about the card, what they don't like about the card, how they've used the card, how their opinions on the card have changed, stuff like that. All really valuable stuff. So they are absolutely worth subbing and watching. I say watching. I watch all of these podcasts because I don't have a podcatcher, but listening to them or watching them, really good stuff. Boom Guy here is also the one who put on MCDC. So I really enjoyed that con in October of 2025, and I hope to get to go in 2026 as well. Really good con, really fun guys. I got to play some games with Boom Guy, and it was really fun, really good experience. So check these guys out. Iron Paddle Games doesn't have a whole lot of videos, but the ones he has are really good. This is the first one I watched, Captain America versus Expert Red Skull. Now, all of his games are Expert, which is cool. I play a lot more Expert than I used to, but I've kind of gone back to only recording standard games because they're faster. Faster games mean faster editing, quicker rendering time, faster upload, etc. So I do like, though, that he is doing all these games on Expert, and they're all pretty short. 15 minutes against Expert Risky Business. 8 minutes here against Absorbing Man. Now, that is a Hulk video, so he probably smashed hard in that game. 32 minutes against Expert Red Skull. So pretty quick games. They're all Expert. Give him a try. 61 subs. He deserves more than that. Go check him out. 2 more on the list. This is Bardic Monk, and I had this video up for a reason. This is his take on a fail-forward campaign. So the idea is you play A1. If you win, you follow the green path. If you lose, you follow the red path. So if you win A1, you go to A2. You win that one, you go to A3. If you win that one, you get 7 points. I could probably get that off of there. So you get 7 points. If you lost A3, you get 6. 1A1, 1A2, lost D1, you get 5 points, etc. down the line. Now, I really like this, but I would make one tiny change. And instead of these being points for how well you did, these would just be different narrative endings for me. So this would be ending 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. down the line. So if you lost all of your games, you get number 8, which is the worst ending. Now, he does have a specific campaign set up with this campaign method. And I toyed with the idea of playing that on my channel, but I've decided instead to just use this roadmap and make my own custom campaign using it. I don't want to spoil too much, but I do want to say that A1 is going to be risky business. I think it's going to be fun. I still have some work to do on it, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that in the future. You'll probably see that on my channel. Last one is Sort of Bored. Now, he does a lot of different things, but he plays on Tabletop Simulator. So it does give a different perspective of the game watching someone play on Tabletop Simulator. I prefer, instead of Tabletop Simulator, I prefer Dragon cards just because it's faster. But like, he can play Root on Tabletop Simulator. He can play these other games on Tabletop Simulator that I can't play on Dragon cards. The thing that got me into watching him is this Witch versus the World. He's taking magic through every villain in the game, and I think that's a lot of fun. That's a really cool idea, and that has inspired me to do the same. I think my Saturday series is going to be a hero versus the world, where I play them through every villain, and I think I'm going to play that hero on current. So that will change over time. That deck will change over time. I've also watched his Spectrum games, and here's another thing. I don't know why it's not showing the red bar under more of these videos. I've watched all of these Spectrum videos. I've watched many of his Magic videos. I don't know. But his channel is different and interesting for different reasons. I don't mind watching games on Tabletop Simulator. But I mean, just go check him out. Again, he talks about what he's doing, so he's giving you a different perspective on the game. All right, that's all I wanted to do today. Number one, thank you again for helping me reach 1,000 subs. It means a lot to me. It means people care about my channel. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you have a marvelous day.